All right, so thank you so much for joining us today. This is the Foundations class, and this is one of my favorite classes to do right here. Because not only is this a really, really easy way to get your feet wet in the energy working world and feel actual results, not only that you can feel inside of yourself, but that you can create for other people as well. This is a really easy way to start expanding your awareness. And, that's all this energy work is. It's instead of trying to talk, instead of trying to experience describing the energies with words, what we do is we start going into the actual energy itself and using the energy to create, quote, words. Because, one of the biggest things about this is just recognizing that whatever language that you speak is not your native language. That's a language that you were taught as a child, and so it seems like it's your native language. But you never had to be taught what being hungry felt like, or what pleasure felt like, or excitement, or hunger, or fear, or joy, or anything like that. Like, these are all sensations that you came hardwired with, and as soon as you came into contact with it, you knew one of two things: either A, you liked it, or B, you did not. And this situation right here is why children are so vivacious. This is why we look at kids and we don't understand why they have so much energy and how they can keep on going. Well, this is one of the reasons right here. They're directly connected in with their body, and they haven't gotten to the point to where they understand spoken word enough to where instead of feeling the sensation and feeling the energy that they're talking about, they just describe it and they vibrate it with words through the air. And what ends up happening as you vibrate your sensations and words through the air with words is that you start to use only sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell to interact with everything, and you stop deeply feeling. And this is why as children grow up, once they grow up, they stop believing in magic. It's a very distinctive separation between being a kid and being an adult. And being an adult in today's society is really just learning how to shut your brain down, or learning how to shut your body down. And if you are shutting down the body sensation, what ends up happening is you've got nothing to work with except your mind. And if you've got nothing to work with except your mind, then there's nothing that you can do to activate these frequencies. It starts to become a numb space. It starts to become a space where you're not aware. And if you're not aware of something, then you can have all kinds of stuff going on in that area if you're not paying attention to it. And that's all this energy work really is. It's just an expansion of your awareness and your own inner understanding, and then sparking it and making it so strong that you can not only heal yourself and make a massive difference inside of your own body, but then you can start to create it so powerfully that you can move it through reality and actually affect other people's bodies. And this is what we call the remote energy work. Time and space means nothing. If you can do this to energy work to somebody who's right in front of you, underneath your hands, you can do this to somebody on the other side of the galaxy, billions of light years away. Time and space, it's absolutely nothing. And when we start to quantumly open up our body's awareness inside of this space, then, we recognize it's all connected. And if it's all connected, it doesn't matter if I'm reaching out to touch my computer screen right there, or I'm reaching out to touch somebody a million miles away and I'm just tuning into them. And it's all the same thing. And all we have to do is just really recognize that it's all about observation inside of yourself. If you can feel what's going on inside of you, then you can direct it, you can shift it. And that's what this class is all about. I'm really excited to see what everybody gets from this. All right, so that being said, what I'm going to be doing throughout this class is pretty much intuitively following the path that is the highest activation, I guess you could say. And none of these classes are the same. They've got the same type of a template where we learn how to create the energy, we do the activations, then we go through, we talk about it, and we build it to the point to where you guys have a really clean, coherent understanding. And then we start doing the work to each other. So as I do this, I'm just going to kind of stop and step back every once in a while and see if there's anything more coherent that needs to come through. Right now, like almost what I'm feeling is like there's brain information that needs to come through before we get started here. So I'm trying to tune into what that is. Physicality. Okay, so the physicality of the energy work is combining mind, spirit, energy into the body. And this is where we find a lot of energy systems really forget. They don't create a space of integration into all three of the trifectas of who we are: mind, body, and spirit. And you'll end up with a lot of spirit and mind work, but the big gap that I see where people don't really get the full connection is inside the body. And the way that the body activation works is just like I was talking about earlier with speech, how it starts to describe the sensations and you limit yourself into a description instead of a full transmission of the energy. Well, what this does is it limits you to being stuck inside of just your brain. And when you're stuck inside of just your brain, your conscious expansion does not have the ability to go through the entire body and build up on itself. And what I mean by this is bioelectricity is what you use to operate your body. If you didn't have that spark of life, then you would be, quote, dead. You know, like this is the thing that we call the animating quality inside of the body. If you know how to find it and turn it on and make it stronger, what you're doing is actively turning up that bioelectric flow inside of you to the point that the iron in the water inside of your blood actually catches that electromagnetic resonance, and it creates a whole bunch of different types of sensations. The most common one is either movement that feels like a warm swirling or tingling sensations. And this right here, this is the activation of fully, truly activated blood inside of the body that we can then consciously move inside or outside. It's a foundation-based resonance that as soon as you can create this inside of you, you can use it almost like a hand to reach out inside of reality. Because if you can touch yourself on the inside, it's the same thing, just to touch the reality on the outside, because it's all you. So now, is there any more information we need to get through before we start this activation here? No, this feels pretty coherently stable. So you'll find me coming back every once in a while, and we'll just start going into a space to where I'll ask questions or we'll go into the next spot. So without further ado, let's start getting some practical application here. The way that we get into the space in order to start doing this energy work is always just simply deep belly breathing. And the reason why we do this is if you're in a fight or flight program, if you've got those words in your mind that are racing like a hamster on a wheel, and you've got that fear that's fueling those words right there, almost 100% of the time, it's impossible to pay attention to the way that your body's feeling. You're very distracted. You've got stuff on the outside sparking the fear. Stuff on the inside is keeping you looking outside. If you were to be able to neutralize all of this and forget the story and back away into a space of observation to see what your body is doing, inside of fight or flight, inside of anxiety, what you have is your pelvic floor as tight as you can make it, flattening your tummy by getting it really tight. And it's almost like you're smashing the tummy towards the chest, and it leaves nothing but like a shallow, quick, fast chest breath. There's no belly movement other than that tension that's in there. And so by doing a belly breath, what we're doing is simply the exact opposite of a fight or flight breathing pattern. So what I want everybody to do, when you inhale, consciously relax the pelvic floor. This is the space underneath the pelvis, right where the genitals are and the anus is. Relax the lower back, relax the tummy, the chest, the solar plexus, the throat. And when you inhale, watch what I'm doing here. So this is my belly button, solar plexus, pelvis. When I inhale, I'm going to completely relax and then try to move my belly button as far away from my spine as I can. What I'm doing right here, it's nothing more than consciously relaxing. I'm letting everything go. And when I inhale, I'm trying to stretch my tummy away from my spine. And that shows me any place inside of my body where there's tension, keeping me from that spot right there. So oftentimes when you first try to do the belly breathing, you'll notice it's a bit hard. It's almost like you can't make your muscles do that. That's because there's tension in there that we have to work our way into clearing out. So if you can't get your belly to expand as big as I did, perfectly okay. I've been practicing this for a while. But what you want to do is just find that space to where it's like you're using the least amount of effort to inflate your body up to that fully expanded point. And then the trick is for the exhale, don't hold on to it. Don't push it out. Don't do anything with the breath. Completely relax your body. So watch. Deep breath in. Full relaxation. My air just bleeds out of the lungs back down to that 0 point. And so as soon as I feel the air not coming out of my lungs, not that I'm pushing it out, but as soon as I feel that stop to where it's not breathing in anymore, you'll have about maybe 20, 25% of the air in your lungs left. You simply inflate Expand it back out, stretch the muscles open like you're trying to reach for that point where it's almost straining, and then relax and let go all the way back down. So it's kind of an involved process with the breathing right here, but you know, once we start getting into it, it'll make sense. So let's go ahead and drop into this breathing for about a minute right now. Just remember, relaxation, deep breath in. Feel the shoulders drop, letting go, letting it relax. Nice and gentle, really feeling the body consciously expanding everything, letting any tiny little bit of tension release as you expand. As you exhale, you're simply telling your body that the dominant program that you want inside of your muscle memory is rest and relax, not fight or flight. Try to make that exhale soft and gentle. If you find that it's hard to relax, like your lungs force the air out quickly, that's the tension. You're starting to become aware of it. Just gently and neutrally observe the way that your body experiences itself. Stretching the breath open and letting it relax, draining it out. Last couple breaths, make these the best ones yet, not forcing the inhalation, but gently expanding to the point to where it feels like you're forcing it. And then letting it go, draining it out. Last one, big belly breath, stretch it all the way open. And relax. Now, we haven't really done much other than just breathing right now, but by making sure it's the opposite of fight or flight, your body has no choice but to start letting go. And already you can feel your mind, it's quieter, it's calmer. The body feels a little bit more relaxed. Like if there was pain and tension, it might still be there, but it's gone down a couple of notches. And this is just by breathing. And by following this breathing pattern right here, what we eventually end up doing is we trigger the body out of the alpha and beta, the surface states where our brain is active, and we get into the delta, the omega, the theta states, to where you can truly communicate with your body on a level that it understands. It doesn't get words. It doesn't understand that. However, the more you focus on the emotion, the sensation, the feeling, the more you start to figure it out. Now, what happened with this breath pattern here? This feels good, but pay attention to how you had to focus on this breathing pattern the entire time to continue it. If you were to let your mind go and wander and focus into some other place, you would have dropped right out of that breathing pattern. That's because you're trying to control with your mind a body process. And in order for us to activate the body brain, we just have to recognize one simple thing. The brain doesn't control this process, the body does. So we have to start putting our attention in the body. So let's go ahead and do a round of breathing again, but this time with one major difference, and it's a really simple perspective shift. It's like you've got the mode right here where the brain has to control everything. It has to micromanage. And then you have the other mode over here where you're observing, where you're feeling, where you're experiencing. And what I want you to do when you inhale into the body, try to feel your rib cage stretching open. Try to feel the muscles that are involved with that breath, the way that your shoulders lift, how your chest expands, how your abdomen opens. But more importantly, on the outside of all of this, where you have billions of nerve endings, your skin is moving. It's gliding under your clothing. The muscles are gliding under the skin. As you inhale, Tune into that sensation, the way that your skin shifts under the clothes, giving you a foundation, a sensation. You can stretch out from there to feel the muscles right underneath. And it's the same exact process, same breath, same full inhale, same releasing exhale. But it's like these subtle sensations are starting to get stronger. It's almost like just by paying attention to them, something in the distance is getting louder, it's getting closer. And this is your first body language command. This is a word in feeling, in sensation, not in spoken sensation, not in spoken words. I call this one the volume dial. What I want you to do, just like you were hearing those distant things get louder the more you paid attention to it, it's almost like the volume dial is going up. What I want you to do is take control of this, and as you inhale, flex your will and turn that volume dial up. Feel these sensations get louder, get stronger. Feel the individual threads of your clothes as they gently caress your skin. There's no limit to how deep you can feel. There's no limit to how loud you can make this volume go. Deep breaths. Feeling the skin surrounding the musculature as the inside opens. It makes everything move under the clothes. Turn it up. Spark it. This is how you start to create that tingling sensation, that swirling, that warmth. If you're feeling that already, turn that up too. There we go. See, and this is how you start to get into the body. You can already start telling your body what you want it to do here, just in these surface levels already. Use your exhale. Inhale and turn the sensation up. Feel your awareness go deep. And as you exhale, any place that you feel stretching, that feels like the breath isn't able to expand through, any place that feels tight or tense or heavy, as you exhale, feel the gravity of the earth pulling you down and relax into it, almost like you're dropping those heavy things, those uncomfortable things, right into the gravity. Inhale, turn that awareness up, spark that sensation. Exhale, relax, letting anything uncomfortable drop right out of you. It's not about fighting. It's not about grabbing something and pulling it and yanking it and ripping it around. It's about relaxing so deeply around what you don't enjoy that it falls right out. There we go. There we go. And it'll feel almost like something draining, almost like a liquid or a sand starting to fall out of you. That sensation right there, just like those sensations in the skin were very small when you first became aware of it. As you exhale, turn it up. It's like you're turning the gravity of the earth up as you're turning the relaxation of the body up. It's almost like you're straining to let go right now. Turn that tingling warmth up. Feel the expansion of the motion, of the sensation. Exhale and drain out anything unneeded, unwanted. Let it go. Very good. All right, finalize with your last 3 breaths right here. You want to make these as strong as you can. The best ones yet, last 3. The biggest feeling, the biggest awareness sensation as you inhale. The biggest relaxation, the biggest drain as you let go and exhale. Last one, big breath. Ever so gently start to move your body, lifting a shoulder, dropping it down, lifting the other side, getting your neck, your back, your hips, everything to move. Feeling how it's almost like it's slightly more juicy. It's like it's softer. It's like your joints have lubrication. That feeling that you were creating, that was activated blood. That sensation of movement. You're literally moving blood through places that are blocked up, that are stuck. And so physically, it starts to release the body. So what we're going to do is a simple stretch to begin with. And what this stretch is going to do is give us an awareness of what muscles that are relaxing and being soft feel like. That way we can recreate that sensation and move it into other places. And my favorite one to do is the hand, the forearms, because there's a lot of nerve endings here in this area. And so what you're going to do is just put your hand in front of you, palm forward, and grab the fingers on the top and pull it back towards you. You'll feel this stretching down the entire front side right here, all the way into the elbow. And what you want to do is just slowly pull it back. Like right here, I feel the stretch start right at about that area there. And I'm going to gently pull it a little bit more, right until I feel where it's going to really stretch. And any more, and it's going to actually get uncomfortable. There might even be an ouch in there. But right here at this spot, I don't feel an ouch. If I pulled it any more, yeah, there's that ouch right there. And so what I'm looking for is that good pain, that sensation where it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable, you know, like that really good sensation right there. And inside of that, I'm going to try to inhale and turn up my awareness and my sensation of all the muscles that are stretching right here. And as I exhale, just like we were talking about with Gabby, everything that's glued together in here, all those muscle cells that are like Velcro holding on to each other, you're going to dissolve that into water. You're going to let the weight fall out of the arm, and you're going to let the muscle stretch open even more. So this is what this looks like with the actual technique here. Inhaling into the awareness of the stretch. And I'm going to exhale and feel the muscles turn into rubber bands and elongate. And see right there, I don't know if you could see that. The hand's a hard one to see, but I just got about another 2 inches of range of motion right there. And I'm not in an ouch right now. It still feels like that really good stretching like it did before, but now I have a lot more range of motion. So go ahead and work on that. Start to inhale and turn up the sensation inside that forearm, drain it out, let it go. Just really start to experiment with the way that you can interact with the sensations inside of you. And the more aware you are, the more interesting things you can do, like a simple turn. So yeah, if I'm at 12 o'clock right here and I turn to 10 o'clock on this side, 2 o'clock on this side, that's a completely different stretch. It gets into completely different spaces in the forearm right there. Now allow it to relax and drop the hand down to the front side, grab it on the bottom and pull it back. And this is going to open up right on the top right here. Do the same thing. Inhale into it, get it right into that point to where only a little bit more is going to be an uncomfortable stretch. And inhale, turn the awareness up. Exhale, feel those muscles stretching out. It's like all that glue, all that Velcro is turning into water and letting go. Perfect. Yep, that's exactly where we need that to be, guys. All right, go ahead and shake that out. Let that rest in your lap, and then feel the way your right hand feels compared to your left hand, the whole forearm. It's a very obvious difference, isn't it? Now, go ahead and take this hand that you were just stretching and simply open and close it. But watch what I'm going to do here. Very slow. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8. So it was almost 8 seconds to open my hand right here. But what I'm doing is I'm not looking at it. I mean, I'm definitely looking at it with my eyes, but what I'm doing is I'm, quote, looking at it from the inside. I'm trying to feel all the tendons as they slide across the bones, the muscles that get tight on the back of the hand to pull the fingers up. And as I close it back down, all those micro movements start becoming a lot more aware, a lot more on the surface. And it's not just a hand that touches and feels on the skin. You can feel under the surface now. I want you to start to close your eyes and really inhale, turn up the feeling that's happening inside of your hand right now, and just slowly move it around. Feel the way that the muscles move on the bones, how it all slides under the skin. And this deep level of awareness right here, this is something that as soon as you have this in one spot in the body, like the hand, it's easy to find this deep awareness. You can move it into another place. Watch this. Stop moving just the hand. Start moving your wrist. Let your hand relax and start moving the wrist around, paying attention to how these muscles that you just stretched hook into the wrist up here, then come all the way down into the elbow. And by moving the wrist, you can feel that sensation of muscle slowly sliding underneath the skin of something that doesn't have anywhere near as much nerve endings as our hand does. But by having awareness there, turn it up. Feel the way these muscles glide around the two bones of the forearm, how they slide under the skin, how they get slightly tight on one side, how they elongate on the other to create this motion, this movement. And as soon as we have good awareness here, move it up. Start to move your elbow back and forth, feeling all that sensation that showed you right where those muscles ended here to give you an awareness of what's happening up here. Start to rotate, palm up, palm down, bend the elbow, start to rotate that shoulder socket. Feel the way everything is shifting here. It's very easy once you have that internal awareness. Like, this is always happening. Your nerves are always working, but your brain is an awful multitasker. And as you release the control of the brain, as you go into this body awareness, you can tell it what you want it to do. Start to take that sensation of relaxation from these muscles that you've stretched in the forearm, and inhale, turn that sensation up inside of the elbow. And as you exhale, drain your arm out. Start to march that sensation a little bit higher from the forearm up into the shoulder with each breath. Drain out the arm. Your body might not know what the physical word of relaxation means, but it knows what it feels like. And you can say relax all you want, but if you stretch your body and you give yourself a really clean, open sensation, then you move it into a place that doesn't feel clean and open, well, your body understands exactly what you need it to do. You're speaking without words. You're speaking in feeling. Now that you have this internal awareness, now that you can deeply feel the muscles as they move through the entire arm up into the shoulder, we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side, but this time work our way down. You don't know what it feels like in the left shoulder. We haven't worked the awareness from the hand up into that space. We haven't stretched the other hand. However, we've created this feeling already. What I want you to do is inhale and tune into the way that your left shoulder rises and falls. Feel how the muscles on the sides of the neck and the top of the shoulder lift it up on the in-breath and how it drops back down on that exhale. Tune in and turn it up. Feel the small movement of the breath giving you more than enough awareness to tune in, to feel. Notice the difference between the two arms. You haven't released the left arm. Or if you stretch the left arm, you haven't released the right one. You know, it's the side that you stretched that feels clean, that feels open. And just by bringing your awareness on this level, you can tell where the muscles are holding on, where they're tight. And as soon as you can feel something like that, you can tell it what to do. But we can't sit there looking at that tight muscle right in front of us and say, hey, let go, stop it, knock it off. It never will understand that. What I want you to do, inhale, turn that tingling awareness up, almost like you're trying to stretch your whole shoulder open, like the skin is blowing up like a balloon and it's stretching the muscles off of the bones. Inhale, pull that sensation in, stretch your muscles open. Exhale, dissolve that Velcro, turn that glue into liquid and feel it running down the arm. Let your arms start to release all the way down, just like you did to the right one. Turn it up. Show your body how you want it to feel. Take that clean sensation and make it happen. Don't ask, don't hope, don't negotiate, just do. Step right into that command seat. This is how you're supposed to feel. And now you have permission to release, because I'm not going to hold on. I'm going to relax and let it go. Very good. Now start to take that awareness. Move the arm all the way down to the wrist on the other side, just like you were doing. And notice you've already got that internal awareness. You can feel the bones moving. You can feel the flesh gliding across the bones, sliding under the skin, just like you could earlier with the sensations that you had to work on to turn up. But now that you're here, it's obvious. It's very clean. Now we're going to go deeper. We're going to activate the internal heart space, because right now you've got really clean arms. They feel soft, they're flowing, they're moving. Now we're going to go deep. And just like you were using that movement, that sensation to create that awareness, we're going to do this with the breath. And this is one of my favorite things to do, because everybody feels this all the time, but nobody ever feels this, like hardly at all. It's a really, really funny type of a thing here. But the breath, the way that you inhale, your breath pathway, it starts right here in the nose, and we know it goes into the lungs. But how often have you ever felt the actual pathways of your lungs by simply tuning into the river of the breath as it goes through? It's very, very rare. Honestly, it's not anybody who I haven't taught that I've ran into in the world who's ever experienced something like that. And so that's all we're going to do. Simply follow the breath all the way back into the body. But it takes a little bit of awareness here. So it's really easy to feel the way that the wind comes up through your nose. And as you inhale, I want you to just simply tune into that and start to follow it back. And like right up here, like the first little bit, you know, the nostrils up into this point. This is really easy to feel. This is where all the nose hairs are. And it kind of tickles, it kind of moves, but it goes up into almost numbness. What I want you to do is when you inhale, slow it down. Try to take like a 10-15 second inhale and turn this sensation up, just like you were doing with everything. And as you inhale, pull that twin swirling tornado up into your sinuses, and watch how just by paying attention, your sinuses suddenly can feel just like your nose can. And turn it up, follow it back. Feel how the soft tissues in your throat start to spark in awareness. How you can feel it starting to flow down the windpipe. Turn it up, make it stronger, and then pull. It's like you're trying to map out the internal lung pathways by simply following that respiration pattern as it goes through the nose, down into the lungs. And turn this up so loud that it sparks that tingling deep inside of you. You can feel every passageway of the lungs. There it is. See how this immediately starts to create almost like a bubble around you? You're not shielding. You're not protecting yourself. You're not creating separation. However, this just so happens to be a very effective shield. It's a side effect. When you make yourself light, when you make yourself bright, anything that tries to, come in there and it's dark, it's, light in a dark room. It has no choice. Now, what I want everybody to do here is recognize this feeling that you're creating. We've used body awareness, and it's really easy with the breath because it's a deep internal sensation, and there's a lot of nerves on that pathway to spark that over unity sensation, to get that tingling going. But it's not air. This is an energy. This is activated blood that you're creating in the body. And so you don't have to let it just stay inside of the air pathways. You can move it wherever you want inside of you. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to start to blossom this open. We're going to activate the heart space, and then we're going to move it all the way through the body, and we're going to tie it in with emotion. That's going to be fun. So what I want everybody to do here, same thing, inhale into the nose, sinuses, down through the soft tissues of the throat and into the lungs, and spark that tingling sensation as loud as you can. And as you exhale, blossom it open. It's like you're creating a ball of tingling energy right in the center of the chest. And as you exhale, I want you to bloom it like a flower, like that ball of energy is a flower bud that starts to open up into the throat and blooms down and around through the entire chest, the front, the back, the sides, all the way down to the solar plexus. And drain the weight out. Always use each exhale to drain a little bit more. There you go. Swirl it through. This movement that you're feeling, this is activated blood that you're consciously moving through your heart space right now. You're consciously opening up, moving, and shifting any place that might be blocked. And the heart, it creates pressure. It's forcing something. So if you have a blockage and it's being forced into it, it's not going to go through, it's going to go around it. And what you're doing right now is you're consciously moving through everything. And if you find a space where that blossom isn't moving, don't try to fight it, don't try to push on it. Relax around it. Let it drop out. Experience this duality, the way that the energy feels, where it's either open and flowing and lifting, or heavy and hard and trying to drag downwards. We need to know where the problems are. We need to know where the tension is. But we need to create the solution to fix the problem. And that's where this energy work comes in. Spark that clean sensation. Feel yourself lifting. And anything that does not want to be clean, that doesn't want to open, you don't even need to know what it is unless it's sticking, unless it won't let go. But as you exhale, as you relax, just give it permission. Give it permission to release, to let go. To say, I don't prefer this. This is what I want. Bring it in. Show your body how you want it to feel. Turn the sensation up. Exhale and feel those muscles separating from each other. Feeling the bones click back into place as you release the tension, pulling them out of alignment. If we can move this in the chest, we can move this someplace else. I want you to simply inhale, almost like your solar plexus down here is part of your lungs. My lungs stop right at about this area, right here. I can feel the wind ending right at about this point. Inhale, almost like your lungs come down to here. As you exhale, blossom open the bottom of your chest, top of the solar plexus. Start to experiment what it feels like to move this energy away from the spot where it was activated. And if you can move it 4 inches away from your lungs, if it's not air, you can move it 10 feet away from your lungs. So let's go a little bit deeper. I want you to inhale this clean, swirling, tingling sensation right down into the lower dantian. Here's my belly button right here. Here's my dantian. It's right directly in at that level, core of the body, very center. It's almost like what you want to do is breathe that sensation through your face, pull it in, and continue it down. If it doesn't want to go down, spin it. almost like a drill. Make it move into the bottom of the abdomen. Force the bottom of the abdomen to blossom open and drain the weight. Feel those petals moving through your lower back, your kidneys, the bladder, the intestines, the genitals, the hip sockets. Getting all of it. Draining out the heaviness. Very good. You know, it's really funny. A lot of this work is simply finding places that you don't have awareness of that feel numb. But if you can create something that you do have awareness of, like this feeling right here, you can move it through you. It's like liquid moving through the body. And if there's a rock, something stuck there, it can't go into it. It goes around it, giving you a very, very obvious example of where to do the work. So this is what we're going to start to transition to. You all have a really clean, energetic activation. You can move it. Now we're going to start moving it with mastery, with focus, with precision. Palms of the hands, the soles of the feet, the top of the head. This is where we're inhaling into. If you can inhale it into your solar plexus, you can inhale it into your hands. If you can inhale it into one leg, you can inhale it into both. If you can inhale it into both, you can get your arms in your head at the same time. So it's like we're stretching from the center all the way up, all the way out, all the way down. Get a big breath in, pull it in. Exhale, blossom open the hands, feet, and head, feeling the body relaxing. Feeling the earth sucking down as we blossom open the starts and endings of all of our meridians, giving clean liquid flow, movement that can start to knock things loose that we can drop into the earth. Don't worry about sharing your garbage with Mama Gaia. She's the great neutralizer. If you have too much, she'll give you what you need. If you don't have enough, or excuse me, if you have too much, she'll take away what you need. And if you don't have enough, she'll give you what you need. It's always coming back into that great neutralizing space. And by releasing trauma into this field, things that we look at as death, as decay, we have a revulsion to, we don't enjoy them. Mama Gaia looks at it like, all right, let's get our little babies out here to break this down. We've got our mycelium, we've got our bugs. We're going to separate all of this out into individual components to break these nutrients down into the staples for brand new life, for brand new awareness. As you exhale, let yourself relax. Let the trauma go that's stuck in the muscles. We haven't gotten the emotional level yet, but anything that's tight, anything that's heavy, anything that won't move, this is where it's stuck. This is why the issues you experience are there. Just relax. Let it drain out of you. Inhale, flood through. It's like you're trying to inhale through the centers of your bones, all the way through the flesh out to the skin, getting everything, blossoming it all open, feeling it drain out. Nice and gentle. Last 3 breaths. Make these the best yet. It's like you're trying to pull this liquid through. It's like you're trying to scour clean the flesh and the bones. It's like you're trying to force sensation into places you don't have any. As you blossom open, feel the entire body letting go. Like all of those muscle cells, the way that they hook into each other, are completely releasing, stretching out, just like your forearm did when we were physically stretching it. Last one. Make this the best one yet. Very good. sit with your body. Just feel. Lean in one direction. Feel the way the center of gravity shifts in the hips. The muscles that stretch and contract as you go back and forth. Moving the shoulders around. Getting the neck to move. Getting the back to shift. It all feels a lot better. A lot better. It's like that noisy mind. It's a thing of the past. You've given it something so all-consuming that it can't focus on anything else other than everything. Very good. Now, do we need anybody who needs some further instruction on this level? Does anybody want to share what they experienced? So on and so forth. So now we got the open mic time. Go ahead and pop on in here and let me know what's going on. One of the really interesting things about these levels right here is that it's really easy to start blanking out. And if you forget what you're doing, if you forget where you are, if you forget what's going on, that's actually pretty common. A lot of people don't have these levels of their body brain activated. And this is why you'll end up with, you know, like a multi-dimensional dream where you have a life-changing experience and you wake up and can't remember any of it. Or people who go on like an ayahuasca journey and, you know, they're in DMT land for like 6-7 hours. But it's such an intense, expansive experience that they can remember some of the feelings of it, but they can't remember any of the details. This work right here, this connects all of that in. And the more coherently you allow your body to be inside of this space right here, the more expansive everything starts to get to the point to where you can do these types of things, where you can feel these types of things. And it's really, really kind of simple. You know, it's just, it's not easy to do, but it's very simple in theory. And it's all about stretching and flexing these new muscles that, you know, some of you were probably using beforehand, but you know, I don't think I've ever come across a program that is as coherently as this one is right here to activate the body. And it's almost like I really just kind of was stubborn enough to stay inside of a sensation long enough for something to happen. And then I could show other people how to do that too. But it's all an internal process. It's all about taking this internal awareness and feeling where you're sitting, where you're standing, where you're moving, and just letting your body know, hey, this right here, it's uncomfortable. I don't enjoy this. This isn't a sensation that I want. And oftentimes it'll even be numb because, you know, how many times have we slept wrong, quote unquote, you know, and you wake up with a kink in your neck or something going on and it hurts for like 5 or 6 days, but then it just completely goes away. Well, it's because it made itself numb. Problem's still there. It's not going away. And this is where we end up with people who seize their backs up. You know, they bend or they twist the wrong way. Then all of a sudden that spasm starts and they can't move. The problem was always there. It was just brought up to the surface levels. And what we're doing here on this body coherence level is we're going inside of that space where all of this is. And we're starting to de-trigger it on a level that lets the body know what we want it to. Why does it go into this space though? Why does the body end up getting tight to begin with? You know, this is the next key. This is where we're going to go into. All right, so what we're going to do, everybody, we just inhaled into our hands, our feet, and our head, and we know what that feeling feels like. It's a sensation of a warmth, a swirling, a tingling, something that's moving through the body to then create another sensation that sparks relaxation. It's simply expanding into your body and letting yourself know, this is what I want to feel inside of this physical space. Now we're going to tie emotion into it. So what I want everybody to do, Same exact thing. Hands, feet, head, blossom it open on the exhale, but with one major difference this time. Put a smile on your face, and as you inhale, pull the feeling of the smile into the tingling movement. There you go. Feel how that tingling sensation, it's got a very similar feeling, but it's like as the smile starts to mix with it, it becomes softer and yet more intense, stronger at the same time. Pull that in all the way into the hands, all the way into the feet. And you might notice that there's other things coming up right now you didn't even notice beforehand because you were moving in just the body. Pay attention. If you've got almost like a clenching starting to pop up, smiling inside of the body when there's grief, it's a really easy way to make your throat get tight or your chest get tight if there's grief stuck in there. If you've got fear, anxiety, worry, you'll feel your stomach, the solar plexus, the lower back getting tight. And it's not about fighting these places. Sometimes we have to be forceful. We have to go in with authority, but we do it in love. We always do this as gently as we possibly can. There you go. You guys are starting to do this. Feel the way it's almost like that smiling sensation digs deeper than just the muscles, just the bones. And it's like there's emotion coming up to the surface right now. Even if you can't feel the emotion, your body's reacting the same way. Big breaths in. Stretch everything open. Give it the sensation you need. Pull that smile in. Blossom that open like you're turning up the feeling of that smile, like it's starting to spark into a chuckle. It's like that tingling is starting to echo with the sound of laughter. Now here's where we're going to take it into an even finer, even more detailed focus. We're going to go back into the breath, the way that it comes into the lungs. I want you to just simply inhale into the chest. Feel the way the wind moves through the face and down through the throat into the lungs. Spark that beautiful tingling, that warmth. Pull the smile in. Blossom it open. As you inhale, start to spread this sensation out of the lungs, like you're bleeding it into the muscles in between the ribs. The heart right next to the lungs. The muscles surrounding the entire chest. And what I want you to look for is the places that are not moving. That feel like it takes a lot of energy to bring that smile towards it. This is the emotional base. This is that trauma level that's stuck inside of the muscles that tell the muscles, get tight. Pull bones out of alignment. We're going to combine the two sensations here. That blossoming as well as the muscles letting go. Now as you inhale, be a bit forceful. It's like you want to try to inhale directly into the space where it's not moving. And you probably won't get it in there, but that's okay. We're just getting movement. And as you exhale, force that space not moving to blossom open. It's like you're taking the center of the blockage and blooming it to the outside and let it fall out of you. as you inhale, start to spin the energy like you're creating a tornado made out of tingling laughter. And use the sharp end to drill into any place that doesn't want to move. And then as you exhale, blossom it open. Make it soft. Make it gentle. Beautiful. We've got some really good releases going on right now. I don't know who you are, but that spot in your mid-back in between the shoulder blade and the chest on the front side right there, start to really expand that open. Feel those physical muscles letting go, almost like the ribs on the front are separating from the ribs on the back, like they're stretching away from each other. Move that neck around. Get it going. Pull that smile in, swirl it around, drain it out. There you go, just like that. This looks really good, everybody. All right, let's go ahead and open up our central channel meridians here. I want everybody to inhale directly into the lower dantian again. It's that spot up above the root, down below the belly button. This time I want you to carry that smile with it as strong as you can. And as you blossom it open, I want you to bloom through the entire pelvis, the entire lower abdomen, like a big bubble that's getting everything. Clean it out. This is where we'll run into fear, to fight or flight programs. Pay attention as you do this, not just to moving the energy, not just to turning the energy up, but feeling on that subtle flesh level if there's anything that's surfacing that's getting tight right now. And if it's getting tight, stretch around it. It's like it's going to try to keep you at this point right here with your breath. And you're going to inhale and run into that spot, run into that tension, sit with it for a little bit, and then keep the inhalation going around it, and then drop that tension out. Let it fall. Let it go. And tie this in together. It's like you're trying to feel the way that your intestines, the way your bladder, the way the hips are all shifting. It's like you're moving that smiling, tingling laughter through all of these spaces. It's like you're turning up the volume dial everywhere. So many sensations. Your brain can't handle any of these. It's too much. But it's effortless in the body. Your body feels it all 100% of the time. Beautiful. All right. Now the central channel meridians. This is the flow that goes around the energy centers in the core of the body where we were just opening everything up. And if you look at somebody from the side and you can see energy movement, what it'll look like is the flow that starts right at the tip of the tailbone and goes all the way up and around the head to come down the front of the body, to hook back around, to go up the spine, down the front. It's like a big loop inside of us, and it powers all of the organs, which in turn power all of the major organ meridians and vice versa. And so what we're going to do, recognize that we've been breathing this in through our mouth. And again, this is an energy that it's sparked by the feeling of air moving, the feeling of the body moving. But it's an energy, and it doesn't have to be from the mouth or the nose into the body. It could be anywhere. I could inhale 1,000,000 light years away from me right now, and then as I exhale, pull it all the way down and through my body. It's all subjective to who you are and what you want to do. However, what we're going to do with this one is pretend like our tailbone has a smiling mouth right on the very tip of it. And as you inhale, pull the energy, this swirling, spinning smile tornado all the way up the spine to fill your head. And as you exhale, it's like you're popping a cork and letting the liquid run down the front of the body to go all the way to wrap around the pelvis, to inhale it all the way up into the top of the head, exhaling it down the front. And start to really work with your fine tuning, with your precision here. Your breath shouldn't reach the very top of your inhalation until the energy reaches the very top of your head. Your breath shouldn't reach the very bottom of your exhalation until the energy reaches the very bottom of the perineum, right next to the tailbone. And if you find that the energy is not moving fast enough, slow your breath down. If you find that you're moving it too quickly, exercise control. Synchronize your breathing with the movement. Feel the pathway as it moves through and allow it to relax anything that's stuck. You'll find this oftentimes on the front as it goes down. It's like you're trying to drain water through stone. Relax that front side. Let it drop. Let it fall. There we go. Very good. That was a good one, you guys. I don't know who that was, but that was a huge release. You'll feel that one. That was your chest. That big heavy thing just fell out right there. Very good. See, everybody's starting to break through right now. See how your body's starting to feel physically lighter, almost like you're lifting? Yeah, well, before we get into gratitude, we might as well tie into light. Everybody's here right now anyway. I want you to feel the sun up above you. And it's like as you inhale, as you pull these sensations in, as you blossom open, you lift up a little bit more. It's like the sun is starting to magnetize you. It's trying to pull you towards it. Feel how bright it is. Feel how radiant the sun is. And if you can see energy, good. If you can't, perfectly okay. You know what the sun feels like. You know what it's like to have that hot sun baking down on your hair, heating up your scalp all the way into the skull. Feeling that delicious radiation as it burns and soothes its way through. All the way down to the bones, literally illuminating your bones. Feel that sensation. Feel that radiance. Blossom open, feeling your body coming from the heart space, blooming out the top of your head, down and around the sides of the body. I'm going to turn off my video right here. And if you can see my picture, just like that. It's like you're inhaling into the central sun right inside of the heart space. And as you exhale, it blooms out the top of the head and down and around the sides and the front and the back of the body. Feel yourself getting bright. Feel yourself lifting. Feel yourself dissolving control of anything trying to pull you back down, anything that's heavy. Because as you rise, anything that is heavy sticks out like a sore thumb. Very good. All right. I want everybody to just sit here. Don't move the energy. Don't shift the chi. Just go back to your normal breathing and feel. Recognizing how much more balanced, how much calmer the body is. We've tied the mind that sees, that hears, that tastes, touches, and smells. That's the light. That's that radiance. We've tied it directly in with the spirit. That's the feeling, the emotion. And that tingling foundation, that warmth, that movement is the body. This is the foundation. We can always add things to the foundation, but the stronger the foundation, well, more powerful the finished product, I guess you could say. Let's add a little bit into this foundation here. I don't want you to tune into any of the energy movement or the tingling or the warmth. I want you to simply tune into the feeling behind the words I'm about to say. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. More than you'll ever know. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. That feeling right there, in order for me to truthfully tell somebody that, there's a very specific sensation I would have to be feeling. As you inhale, I want you to put that smile on your face and pull in that feeling. It's like you're trying to create smiling gratitude. Start to spark the tingling inside of that emotion. Make it bright like the sun. It's like illuminated, radiant gratitude. Very good. See, I see a few of you guys. It's melting the bottom of the heart space. It's melting the top of the solar plexus with this gratitude. Let's turn this up a little bit. I want you to hold on to that feeling of gratitude, but we're going to tie in forgiveness. This is another trifecta that I really enjoy. Smiling, gratitude, forgiveness. Now, tune into this feeling under these words here. I forgive you. I recognize you messed up. It's okay. Stop feeling this bad. It's no big deal. It doesn't bother me. I forgive you. It's okay. Pull that into your gratitude. Pull that into the tingling. Light it up like the sun. Blossom your body open. Feel that bubble of illumination getting bright, getting big around you. Feeling how laughter by itself is very powerful, but when we tinge it with something else that feels good, then stack on a little bit more. It's like seasonings. It's like flavorings in a soup. It's like we take a little bit here and, oh God, that tastes so good when we mix that together. And, oh, do you smell that? Oh, it's so precious. It's so beautiful. It's the same thing. Start to reach out into whatever your body's calling for. Confidence, strength, empathy, compassion, joy, unconditional love. It's the same thing. We know the words around these emotions. Say those words to yourself. What is the feeling you would have to experience under those words to be truthful? Pull it in. Spark it. Very good. Ah, very good. We tuned into the foundations and we felt what it can do inside of us. And now we're going to start going into a little bit more, I guess you could say, a more nuanced body understanding with different types of frequencies. We're going to, the light, the tingling activation and the emotional activation right there. We kind of went into how you can stack inside of the emotional one, but we haven't done it on any other side. And so what we're going to do is try to create different sensations inside of the body and then expand those and see what they do. And I find one of the easiest ways to do this is to create something that is a familiar sensation that all of us know, and then just kind of put this inside of the energy here. And so one of my favorites that I like to use is electricity. So we're going to actually create a ball for this one. So everybody go ahead and take your hands and let them just kind of, you can't see my hands where they're at right now, but I just let them relax kind of like they're in my lab, but it's about this far apart, like I'm holding onto a basketball or a soccer ball or something like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to, again, inhale right into the palms of the hands. And as you exhale, blossom them open. And it's like you're trying to push the energy out of the hand towards the other one. So it's like you're pushing in both directions. You're not physically touching, but the energy is definitely touching as you're exhaling here. So let's get like 7 or 8 breaths here and just really start to build this up. Make this stronger. Turn that light up, that intensity of the sun, turn up that tingling, make it laugh, make it forgive, make it grateful. Put in everything that you can in here. And as you blossom it open, push. Just like that. Turn it up, make that sensation stronger, and you'll notice as you start to move your hands, it's a sensation of like a bouncy ball trying to press back. This is that ball of energy you're creating outside of your energy, or outside of your body. It's still inside of your energy, but it's outside the body right now. Once you can feel that, once you can feel that slight pushback sensation, start to inhale directly into the very center of this ball. Pull in that laughter, light it up like the sun, blossom it open, and it's like you're trying to put more energy into this one space. The space isn't getting bigger, but the energy is getting a lot more intense. Very good. That looks really good, you guys. So this ball of energy right here, what we've just done is we've created something internally that is now an external manifestation. And we can use this to reach out and connect into something that we want. And lightning, again, is electricity. It's something that we all understand. We know what it does, how it works. Well, some of us know how it works, but for the most part, we know the properties. You touch it, it's going to zap you. Like, that's all we really need to know. But what I want you to do, take this ball and start to reach. You don't need to know where the closest lightning storm is to you. Just start to push towards it. And it's almost like it's magnetizing itself into the lightning. And just take your awareness with it. It's like you're pushing it far outside of the body to hook into that cloud and start to crackle. Start to build up that static electricity inside of that light, inside of that laughter, and soak it in like you're trying to get a lightning strike to absorb into this entire ball. And ever so gently, pull it back. Bring it back right in between your hands. Feel the sensation of this crackling, of this lightning, of this shocking aspect. Turn it up. There you go. Don't forget the other ends of the spectrum. Make it as bright as the sun. Make that tingling explosive. Make it laugh. Make it joyful. And we're going to do a couple things here at the same time. We're going to take the ball and pull it into our chest like we're hugging it in. But at the same time, we're going to inhale, and almost like we have a smiling mouth right in the center of our chest, we're going to pull this ball right into the center of the heart space that you were blossoming open earlier. And I want you to continue doing that exact same thing, inhaling into the center of that ball, sparking the lightning, the light, the laughter, and the movement, and blossom it open into a crackling lightning storm of laughter. Turn it up until it starts to fill up, almost like there's a container in your chest that once it starts to overflow, this lightning, this energy is going to start to explode everywhere inside of you. It's like a pot boiling over, filling everything with awesome. Very good. Now allow yourself to relax and come back into center, feeling the muscles, the skin, the bones. as still as can be, as relaxed and as soft as can be. Now that we used what we already understand to reach out into something new, into that electricity, now that you felt it, inhale into that electricity by itself. No laughter, no tingling, no light. Simple crackling lightning. Build that lightning up like a foundation, just like you build up the tingling. Now put that smile on your face and inhale into laughing lightning. Meld it together. Very good, you guys. Oh, that was fun to watch. All right, start to move it through the body. Lightning, you can't direct it as easily. You'll notice that there's a lot more of a random, sparking type of an aspect to this right here, but you can direct it. Inhale and spark that lightning to bolt through the entire body with the intention of hooking into places that are not moving. Like the electricity is zap right into the blockage. And that shows you exactly where you can inhale your laughter and your movement to blossom it open and release it out of the body. Very good. And one of the reasons I use electricity is because it's very, very similar to the spark of life that is running through our bodies. It's a much smaller amount than like a bolt of lightning, yes, but we can also build it up to the point to where eventually we can create bolts of lightning. I can't do that yet, but I know it's possible. I felt it get to the point to where there was a potential for it, but I wasn't strong enough for that. And I'm a lot stronger than most people on these levels here. So, that lets you know how much work I have to do in order to get to that point right there. Because I'm just like you guys. I'm still working on these levels right here. I'm trying to make the sensation stronger, just like you guys are right here. And that opens up my experience and my awareness to find spaces outside of that I can work inside of and start to move through. And just like with this lightning, I can touch it, I can feel it and say, well, what is that sensation? And then I can start to create it. I can start to move it. And then all of a sudden, anything that's inside of that energetic frequency right there, as I turn up the laughter inside of it and change the frequency of that foundation, it'll show me a whole bunch of blockage I had no clue was there beforehand because it was numb. There was no awareness there. And that's all this is. It's simply stretching your awareness into something different, into something new. And just like how we reached for that lightning right there, you can reach for anything. So say, for instance, that you've never felt love before. You've never felt confidence. You've never felt being powerful inside of yourself. That right there, it's a very specific energy. All of those are. And so all you have to do is, just like we tuned into the lightning storm, we didn't even need to know where it was. We just knew that there was a lightning storm, and so we reached for it. It's the same exact thing. You just reach towards a person. And even if this isn't a person that you've ever met before, you just tune into somebody who has that frequency, who is confident, who looks at a scary situation and they laugh and they say, no problem, I've got it. Don't worry about it. That right there is a very specific type of an energy, a very specific type of a frequency. And if we can take our tingling movement and then go and touch it, even if somebody else is creating it, or if we're creating it on the outside because we don't know anybody who has that frequency, we're still touching it. If you can touch it, you can pull it in. You can move it. You can play around with it. You can see what it feels like. You can draw it in. You can move it through your body. And so this is how we start to literally reprogram ourselves. I know it's kind of hard to believe, but I used to be one of the shyest people on the planet. I would get in front of a group of more than like 2 or 3 people, and I'd start doing this thing because I was just so nervous inside, and it was like, well, what if they don't like me? And, all of these words inside of my head that really created a space to where I mean, I was traumatized. I was like a traumatized, terrified person who I couldn't move in any direction inside of myself as well as outside of myself. And it was simply recognizing I don't like the way that feels. I don't like being so nervous in front of people that I start to talk like a goat, you know, like I don't like it. I don't like the way that that feels. And so what did I do? I tuned into, actually, it was a friend of mine when I was growing up, from about 12 to 15. I knew this guy named Anthony Miller. And Anthony was the ultimate cool guy. You know, he was super cute. All the girls loved him. He could do backflips, you know, like, and he was just one of the nicest people that you ever met in your life. And I just loved being around Anthony because he had a very specific frequency and a way that he looked at life that was so opposite of where I was, where, you know, I was just a pissed off, angry kid, you know, and Anthony just looked at the world with love. And it was something that I carried with me for a long time. And when I was trying to remake myself, when I was trying to become a better person than who I was, you know, it's kind of funny to say this, but my go-to was, well, what would Anthony do? You know, and that was actually my introduction into tuning into frequencies and energies that other people experience, and then trying to experience it myself. And it wasn't as coherent as like energetically moving towards Anthony and feeling him at his most amazing, his most brilliant, his brightest, and then taking that energy as like a color and pulling that back into me to see how it feels. That right there is the more coherent aspect of that. And it's not like vampirism. Like what we're doing is we're feeling the sensation of their radiance and then we're replicating it. And what we can do is then just expand ourselves out into anything, literally anything that we need. But the trick is when we apply it, oftentimes that's when the trigger comes up to the surface. And so what I ended up doing, like that, the whole shyness thing, I put myself into the hot seat. I went and I got into an open mic and I went in front of like 70, 80 people. And I went up there and talked like a goat. And I was like, hey, I'm super shy. I hate talking in front of people. Hi, I'm done. You know, and like that was the first time I did it. And it was horrendously awkward. But it was that first step. I was like, you know, that actually wasn't that bad. Like, I mean, what was going to happen? You know, they're going to heckle me off the stage. Like, even then, who cares? Like, it's not about them. It's about me. And so I started to really step into that space. And so I would feel that shyness come up, and it would be that clenching of my gut and like the tightness in my throat. And so I would start to inhale into that. I would start to release that physical sensation. I would replace it with the sensation of confidence, the sensation of movement, the sensation of free flow. And that's what I do now. You know, people comment on it all the time. I have a very open social energy, and I don't like being around people, you know, even to this day. Like I'm a huge introvert, but because of all the work that I've done on myself, I can go into any situation and I can fit in there like I belong there. And that's just by feeling it. Just by recognizing my own internal sensations can reach out and feel the situation of the crowd and out at large. And inside of that space right there, I can find exactly where there's conflict. I can find exactly where there's connection. I can find exactly where there's expansion. And from there, you just kind of feel around and you allow your body to mingle with the frequency and the energy of it, and then you shift it. And as you're a part of the system, if you shift it, the system has to shift with you. And that's exactly what this is, you know, and so this is more of a higher level concept right here, but it's the exact same process that happens inside of your body. If you can feel something, even if you've never felt it before, you can turn it up. If you've never felt something before, you can create something to reach out and touch it, and then you can turn it up. And it's the same exact thing. The brain, it's that center, it's that core. And as we expand to where you're at right now, we get into the body. As we expand, we get into the reality at large with the auric field and being able to interact with that. As we expand outside of that, we start to recognize that reality isn't as solid as we thought it was, and we can start to interact with the atomic structure. Outside of that, we've got everything coming in from the ancestral levels, the past life levels, the reasons why the programs in this lifetime create the energies and the frequencies and the situations that they do. And it's all just expansion. And if you can't experience what I'm talking about, that's perfectly okay. That just means that you're not there yet, that you've got, you know, this layer right here in the way between that one right there. And so you have to focus where you're at. You have to focus on the sensations you do have, and you make them beautiful. You make them powerful. You make them strong. And the longer you hold on to them, the less your body can hold on to density. And the less density you have inside of you, the more expansive your awareness becomes. And this work, it's not a matter of if you can get better, it's a matter of when you get better. because you cannot keep talking to the body on this level without it finally saying, all right, I get it. We're going to do that. You're in charge. This is your soul. I'm just here as the carrier vessel. I can't run these programs anymore. You're stepping up now. And so it lets go. And that's literally all there is to it. It's a lot more complicated than it seems, because if we look at it from the outside, it's like, well, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that. No, you really don't. The bottom line is you have to tune into what feels beautiful to you and then make it. And anything that comes up that's uncomfortable, that's not an attack, that's not a bad thing happening. That is literally darkness and density and stuck energy inside of you coming up to the surface for release. So treat it accordingly. Have fun with it. This is hands down one of the most powerful consciousness tool systems on the planet. And, you know, again, I'm very biased because I created it, but still, you know, the results that we bring are, they're bar none better than just about anything else that we can find. And if there is something that creates better results, we don't want to isolate it. We want to integrate it into what we're doing. And that's how we get so good. We start to expand out into everything so that we can understand it all. But despite the fact that these are some of the most advanced consciousness tools on the planet, 100% useless if you don't use them. So when you don't feel like smiling, that's the most important time to, because it's up at the surface. It's ready to come out. It's ready to go. And if you are paying attention in this frequency on this level right here, you'll never, ever get into a space to where it's just words. Just words, it's really easy to hide things inside of that. You know, you'll just be thinking inside of that thought space right there. And as you expand into this right here, those words are only a tiny fraction of what's actually happening in the body. And if you have a deeper awareness, you'll recognize these words right here are a major red flag. And I feel anxiety, I feel fear, I feel sadness. There's something going on. And when I pull my smile into my body, it doesn't move right there. And that right there is where you start to bring in the energy. You don't fight it, you relax around it, and you let it go. Because density, fighting, war, it only creates more density, more fighting, more war. And, you know, take this from somebody who saw the demons attacking humanity and went to war immediately. It doesn't work. All we're going to do is create more blockage. All we're going to do is end up creating a space to where we're so frazzled and spastic and, you know, completely and totally out of our sovereign element that, you know, anything can happen. And when we start to go back into the body, when we start to recognize, yeah, there's implants and there's entities on the outside, but they need this density inside of me in order to hook in. And if I follow them back into it, if I'm being attacked and I stop trying to fight whatever's happening and I go back into what it's feeding on, it just showed me where I'm holding on to trauma. Thanks, buddy. You're awesome. You know, and we start to really get into a full spectrum space of recognizing that your relaxation, your peace literally shifts reality around you. And as good as your bodies feel right now, the stronger you make these sensations, the more you can relax reality around you the same exact way that you feel in this space. And enough of us do this, that's where it starts to connect in. That's where we start having, you know, the event, that spot where all of a sudden everything becomes multidimensional, where we can interact physically with the way that we know our soul is supposed to. That's not something happening to us. It's not a process that we're here waiting on. It's something we are actively creating. And as you go in and you clean out this density, as you clean out these heavy spaces dragging you down and you lift up even higher, you're letting the burden that's pushing the planet down into these dark levels let go just a little bit more. Enough of us do this, bloop, the planet pops back into its rightful space. And that's the event where we go back into our natural evolution, where we go back into our natural understanding of the natural human. And thank you. This isn't something that we're just waiting for to happen. It's people like you recognizing that there's something more. There's something that, despite the fact that there's no space to put your finger on and touch it, there's something that can actively shift and change your life and your reality and the way that you exist inside of this space. And by simply expanding into that, what you're doing is not just helping you. You've helped everybody out in your DNA line by showing them how to release. You've helped everybody out inside of your collective field by showing them what relaxation feels like, by showing them what that chaos that's numb suddenly feels like when it's silent and you can sit inside of it. This right here is so much more helpful than you actually realize. This is not just you that you're helping. This is the entire planet. And by being this gateway, just like I am, all I am is just a broadcaster. I tune into very high vibratory frequencies that are outside of this physical reality. I create them, I broadcast them here. I show you guys how to feel them by sending it to you. As soon as you walk through the steps to feel it, it's yours. You can then use this fire, this torch, which isn't mine, this is yours. All I did was just open up a door for you. That's what you can do too. And as you step inside of this space to recognize there's so much more happening right now than just the sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, and we start to balance it, we start to etherically transmute and alchemize, that's where we get the mastery. This is where we start getting those abilities that look superhuman, but they're nothing more than a byproduct of your fully awakened self, an expanded awareness of your nervous system. And that's it. That is it. This is a natural native language that you're speaking again. And just because you were 2 or 3 years old and you decided to communicate with the rest of the planet on the levels they were communicating, doesn't mean that you can't come back to this. It's your native language. And even if you haven't spoken it in a while, it's familiar. It's instinctive. It's very powerful. So enjoy. Really, truly enjoy. That's the name of the game. When we are trying to push into a beautiful space and we're holding on to anger or frustration or shame or guilt, we can't go into that beautiful space. We can only look at it from the outside. And that's the system that humankind is in right now. We all want to be there. We all want to be in that beauty. We all want to be into that spot to where everything feels so connected and majestic and guided by source. But there's so much under the surface that we're not paying attention to that physically cannot exist inside of that space. So pay attention. It's not about just making something beautiful. It's about recognizing what's not beautiful and honoring it, even if it's not yours. You know, if it came passing down to you through your ancestral lineage, or if it's a connection with somebody on the outside that you just don't like that person and you've got like that anger connection, that hate connection with that person, just because it's coming from them, just because it's coming from the outside does not mean that we can just let it go. If you can feel it, that means you can claim it. And if you can feel it, there's a reason that you can touch it, making it yours. So take responsibility for it, fix it. Everybody else who made this stuff on the ancestral level, they're dead. They can't fix this. They don't know how to do it. They're soul and spirit now. And they have no choice in the body, but we do. We can do it. We can shift it. We can change it. We can fix it. And that's why we're here. That's why these souls are in these bodies right now. It's to fix a system that was so far out of alignment that you could never fix it unless there was something already powerful, already vibrant, that then could go into that space. And that's what we're looking at. The world is nothing more than a bowling ball of density, and we're drilling into the very center so that we can start making water that can flow to the outside and connect in. That's all we're doing. And this was a beautiful, beautiful class. This was a very coherent group. This was a very powerful, energetic structure you guys all created. And it was an absolute honor to walk everybody through this. So, last thing before we're done, this is what I call what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. I actually got this from a guy named Cameron Day, but I tied it in with the energy sensations. What you're going to do when you inhale, what's mine is mine. It's the feeling of, even if there is 250 billion light years away, a little tiny piece of you about the size of a pebble, when you inhale, that's coming into the center. It's like a feeling of the gravity of you pulling everything in. And then as you exhale, what's yours is the opposite sensation. If it's not yours, you're going to let it go. But have fun with it. It's not like, give me that back, that's mine, you jerk. And like, hey, take this, this is crap, I don't want it, take your stuff back. Have fun with it. It's almost like a, wait a second, is that mine? Oh man, silly. Oh, thank you for holding on to that. Oh, thank you so much. And then on the other end of that, I'm holding on to your stuff, man. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Here you go. That's my bad. You know, and you just start having fun with it and play around with it. Very gentle, very soft. Silly me. That's mine. I forgot it. Thank you. And then here you go. This is yours. It belongs with you, just like mine belongs with me. So let's go ahead and try this. As we inhale, what's mine is mine. Exhale and release. What's yours is yours. Let it all go back. It's not like we're trying to force anything. We're simply allowing it to go back to its rightful space. What's mine is mine. And what's yours is yours. Last one. What's mine is mine. And what's yours is yours. And you'll feel almost like a barrier around you, like a little bubble. And it's not even like you're creating a shield. What you're doing is you're creating your sovereign space, and you get to choose what's inside of that sovereign space. Fill it up with joy. Brilliantly light it up like the sun. Choose what you align with. Not by looking at it, but by actively creating it. And then this bubble is one of the most effective shields you can ever create. But we didn't create this for the sake of creating a shield. We made this to make a beautiful sovereign space that we're inside of. That's it. Anything that comes up that's not beautiful, that's not sovereign, we don't fight it. We don't hate it. We don't send anger to it. We relax around it and let it know that it doesn't belong. That's it.